today's video, we're gonna follow up leading from our last video. In the last video, we pulled the 430 Windsor out of the 68 Falcon in preparation to prep the motor to run a flat pan dry sump system because we're gonna be installing the Detroit Speed Alumiframe. The shock towers will be going away. That's one of the things that'll clear up more room. Now this dry sump system is featured by Aviate. We plan on running a tank up front where the shock towers were, and then with the flat pan, hopefully we're allowed to push the motor back some into the firewall, clearance the firewall, and also the trans tunnel. So stay tuned, I'm gonna unbox this system. Clamps for the tank. Some good some nice dash 12s. The tank itself, not only does it allow the oil to be off site, but as it goes down, it reconditions the oil, all the aeration that happens in the crankcase. So it's by design, but yeah, real impressed. Again, shout out to the staff at Aviate for hooking this up. It's like another, this might be like a catch can. Nice Wix filter. I believe this is a reusable, or no, but it's cool because, oh, that's a filter housing, that's what that is. So this looks like the belt and pulley system that'll go onto the actual, we're running a Jones Racing drive system. So that's what this is. It's a bracket to bolt on the passenger side, because we're gonna be running the Detroit Speed Alumiframe, which will have the rack and pinion on the driver's side. And here's some more components. This is the 3-stage dry sump system. And I mean, that you got to run a rear sump Fox body style pan, and I'm not trying to mess around or even risk starving the motor. As you guys know, this motor will be buzzing 8,500 RPM from time to time, street driven car. Plus with a flat pan like that, the motor can go back, forth. Anywhere we need to set the motor, we have the ability to do that. You got to appreciate that windage, this little windage tray here, and this crank scraper. Definitely a shout out to fucking Aviate. Is an Aviate 3-stage dry sump system. What this dry sump system allows is for better oil control of the engine's oil supply system. There are several reasons of why you would want to go to a dry sump system. One would be you have the ability to have a flatter oil pan. And so what that essentially means is you can set the motor lower in the car and also push the engine back. Have flexibility in terms of how your motor sits and fits in the car. Then the next thing is oil control. When you look at a wet sump system, you have a pan sump with an oil pump and a pickup that is trying to deliver oil driven off engine RPM, really volatile conditions. In that system, you are going to have hurricane force winds whipping the oil, creating and causing air in the oil. This air is what's known as, injected in the oil is what's sometimes called aeration. Aeration, as it's picked up by the oil pump and sent upstream in the circuit, can also cause spikes, surges, and drops in oil pressure. The other thing you have is when you have oil sitting in a sump and you have acceleration, deceleration forces, cornering, and all different types of dynamics, your engine can starve for oil. That is a condition that can cause engine part failure, bearing failure, and catastrophic damage to your engine. So by having a dry sump system, you're essentially eliminating those possibilities. Another point a sump system does is it allows vacuum pressure in your crankcase. Vacuum pressure in your crankcase allows for better ring seal, because instead of having these hurricane force winds as the crankshaft whips in the oil pan, it's actually pulling air and oil out of the motor and then back into the reservoir. From the reservoir, it's delivering pressurized oil to your engine block. In my case, in the 430 Windsor, we're probably gonna plug it or tap it into where the oil filter boss was. This is extremely important as you're separating the engine oil. As the oil is pulled from the pan back and cycles through the circuit into the tank, the dry sump reservoir conditions the oil. Within the reservoir, you're gonna find an assortment of baffles, slits, filters, to allow the oil to dissipate the air, to dissipate heat, and bring it to a state where it's conditioned. And also, you'll find that a lot of times in a dry sump system, oil temperatures that are 10, 15 degrees cooler than if the oil was sitting in the pan. This is a 2.5 gallon tank. 10 quarts stored in the reservoir, and then approximately a quart or two in the actual system. Moving on to the pump. This is a 3-stage pump, 2 scavenge and 1 pressure. This pump is driven off of the front of the crankshaft via a belt. Adjust oil pressure and to advance it or to lower oil pressure, allowing you to dial in your engine's oil pressure needs based on your motor. It features a -12 circuit that it comes with. In the Falcon, we plan on running it where the shock towers used to be. In other systems where you cannot put it in the shock tower, it's optimal to use a -16. All these things combined, you can expect a gain of 6 to 10% horsepower torque increase when switching over to a dry sump as compared to a conventional wet sump oiling system. As you can see here, this AV8 pan features a crank scraper as well as windage to actually separate where the scavenge pickups are. In this particular motor, because we switched over to dry sump, this motor made over 700 horsepower, so you can do the math. I want to give a personal thanks to John and Stephanie of AVA, and also California Street Machine and TOE Performance, both out of Sassoon City. When setting up a dry sump system, be sure to consult with your engine builder and your engine's specific needs. Every engine has a different demand for oil, and so it's important to match those things up correctly. Because this motor already has a Jones drive assembly up front, it's going to be a relatively simple conversion to convert the 430 Windsor from wet sump to dry sump. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Follow along as we get this system installed, and then we go ahead and move the shock towers and install the Detroit Speed Alumaframe as we continue to build the 430 Windsor Falcon.